Hi guys. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. Not like I've been doing stuff a little bit different. Now I am doing English language A level. Because why not? Yeah. So yes, I'm doing English language A level, and I thought I might share with you some stuff, which I learned in my GCSE and also what I'm learning in A level, because many people want to know what this subject's about. So yeah. Now this isn't a roller coaster thing, so I'm very very sorry about this, but it is a one-off, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll get back to roller coaster content as soon as possible. If you haven't seen my other video, I have released it today, tonight, literally on the 9th of what? There's that's not even on. There's no month on here, which is kind of pretty funny. Anyways, so English language at GCSE. Now I found this was quite straightforward in a way. Now I say that I found it quite relaxing as well. Don't do what I did and put smile always at the end of every single line to fill up the whole page. That's what I did, and don't get how I came out with a 6. So we roll with it. Now English language, very very good. I like the subject. Now many people don't. And there's a method in how you do the tests, so I'll go over them later on. Now, there are some things you have to remember, such as VEFI, which is, I don't know them. You got OIFIL. I don't know them either. Oh, is it opinion, evidence, interpret, facts, interpret? I don't know. Okay, so I don't know the structures of things because it's been quite a while, and English language A level is totally different to GCSE. But there are some things that I can help you with the creativity side, because I love creativity. I smash creativity. Yes. So starting with a cyclical cycle. Now everyone knows what a cyclical cycle is, or probably if you don't, then I'll tell you. Basically, it's where you can read a structure from the start to the end. Now, with this, let's say the sun is rising. Whoa, the sun is rising, guys. And then you can finish your whole paragraph with your whole story or your whole description with the sun setting or it going into the night. Because when you leave it at the night, what does the sun do? Oh, it comes back up in the morning, and that will be the cyclical cycle because it goes on over and over and over and over again. So that's the first thing you need to remember for your question 5 of paper 1. Oops. Now, if you don't remember that, it's not too bad. It's really not needed, but at the same time, it is a very, very beneficial thing you need to put in. Remember, you start where you finish, because it's a cycle, and a cycler goes round wheels and goes round places. You get to A to B, any wheels does it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, like I said, start with the sun rising. Now, if you are describing the picture, and highly tell you to describe the picture. If you are not, then you are describing, or you are telling the story of what it says. Describe what is in the photo. So your story should be what is in the photo. Now you can go off at a tangent if you want to. I mean, I know many people did that. Don't know how far they got with it. I know many people failed it, but yet again, that won't happen if you listen to me. No joke. I'm no expert in all this, but I thought I might help you guys. So then when you get into the structure on the image, so if you are describing the image, so this is only for description images, you have to add something in, of course. It's like an emaciated dog. Now emaciated means like a stray dog. It's not very looked after, it's probably got fleas or something like that. But having this emaciated dog in the picture, or even outside, you can add stuff outside the picture. You get more marks if you add stuff outside the picture than you do just describing the picture, because people like to know their 360 views of what there is. Even if you turn around in the story, it'd be really, really cool. Or the description. Like, make yourself in the part, because, if you're not in that descriptive thing, you can't say much, or you can't describe much to the person. So making yourself, put yourself in the picture first before you do anything. So describe the sun rising, and then put yourself in the picture. There's a yellow thing on Alexa. So, sun rising, you're there. What can you see? What can you feel? What can you hear? Because, when you use the 5 senses, it's also a very beneficial thing. But say, don't tell. Show, don't tell. Show them what. No, tell, don't show. Tell them what you can see without actually showing them. Because if you do that, you are giving it a wider range of ideas. of the creativity your mind has, then you are broader. Because if you physically go and show the people, or at least show it through the senses, like, oh, this is a boat, don't do that, because oh, it's a boat. What sort of boat? Describe the boat, and don't necessarily say it's a boat. Say it's like a sinkable transportation device. Don't say that. That's absolutely awful. But there's other words around the simplistic, boring nouns, which again I'm going to go on to. Now, having an emaciated dog in the picture. So once you've done the cyclical cycle, so the sun rising, you are in the place. You can see. You look around. You look around outside the photo, so you could turn around. You go, oh, I can see more. So if it's something to do with like let's say if it's something to do, if the picture is a forest, for example, you look around, you see more trees. You look behind you, you may see footsteps. Make it very engaging for the person. For the what do they call the inspector guy, the reader. Make it more engaging for the reader, because if you do that, then you get their attention, and I can use my imagination, and you're not telling me to do this. You're not showing me how to do it. You're literally telling me, and because I'm telling you, I'm feeding this information, going, I'm here. Not where you may think, different perspectives when you make it a wider range, but the invigilator may have a different description than you, but it makes it more creative, because you could take stuff which is wide and range, different ways, which is very, very good. Now, with that being said in mind, you've also got stuff like I said, emaciated dog, stray dog. Now, with this element, or you can even add something like a bow or a stick, anything, just anything. But I'll use emaciated dog because emaciated is a very, very good word. AMACIATED, exactly how you spell it. Now, emaciated, I'm going to say it again, is a stray dog. And if you put it outside of the image, so the first thing you see is you're there, you're looking around, and then you see an emaciated dog. That is a very, very good thing. And you can add that into any scenario. You can even add the fact that the sun rising, because the sun does rise, even if you're indoors. I had an image which was indoors, and I even said, oh, the sun's glaring through the windows, smiling always at me, because, marmalising sun. Again, very, very beneficial. Now, once you see this emaciated dog, it may be scurrying around. What is it scurrying around at? So add something else in, like the rubbish bins, which hasn't been taken out for weeks. And, it sounds like a parent thing. Sorry, my braces are so annoying me. Adding the fact that it's growling at something. There's another stray dog there, or stray cat. Just adding anything that dog could interact with, even a man. And if there was a man, then don't interact with the man, don't speak to the man, because it's not dialect. You don't want dialect and speech. You want more of a case of, you'll describe him, because it's called descriptive language. But describe what that man is doing to the dog. Describe what the dog's doing to the man. Describe that whole area, that section, but not in too further depth. Focus on more of the plain part, but you can add stuff on the outside, like I said. So once you have the sun rising, your cyclical cycle, you're in the points and you're looking around, using your senses. Seriously? That was Alex. That was my brother. I'm very sorry about that. And then you have and then I've lost what I was saying. Oh yeah. And then you have the stray dog, the stray man. Then basically you are very much set to go and describe the picture. Now, like I said, you can walk forward, you can walk behind, but always land it back in the same spot. Because if you do not and you go off at a tangent, you will have an issue. Because if you get to the end of the world and we're like, oh, great, it's not going to work with your cyclical cycle, because your cyclical cycle is more of a case of, if the sun doesn't rise in the same space where you were, it's more of a case of, the invigilator is going to be confused in where you are, because if you reread it, it'll be like, I've telepathically removed myself from the area I was reading from and moved it back to where I was at the start. Now, with this in mind, once we've done the cyclical cycle, once you've moved around, once you've seen the stray dog, once you've described where you are, you then go straight into what you can feel in the air, what you can see, and more of a case of what is the tide like, for example? Always add the tide or water. Always make sure you can see water, because if you can see water, if you can see the sun, and if you can see a stray dog, that is all you technically need. Now I added the sun. I would like the oblivious, the color of oblivion. No, the sun is glaring into the color of oblivious blue. God knows what oblivious blue is. It's like the deepest, darkest depths of the uh, waters. But adding something, just adding anything into this description would be very, very, very cool. Now, question 5 is all done for that. Now, with your persuasive one, which is on question 2, so this is a different thing now. Now, question 2, paper 5, is more of your persuading, I think it is. Now, first thing you should always do is never go towards, never agree with the statement, disagree with it. Because if you disagree, you may get more marks. That's what I think, anyways. But if you keep disagreeing and then you go, oh, let's agree, it's more beneficial for the examiner to go, oh right, so you're disagreeing, but you've added some evidence in saying, oh yeah, I can see your counterpoint. And if you argue against yourself, don't continuously argue against yourself, but if you argue against yourself now and then in this whole script, it is very, very good, because it shows that you've had a detailed and complex viewpoint of the whole scenario. Now, I don't have a scenario paper of this, unfortunately, so I cannot tell you. But when I did it, it was something to do write a letter. Now, with a letter, always remember your form, audience, purpose, and subject. So the form, who are you writing to? No, that's your audience. What is the form of your thing? Now, always look out for stuff like articles, newspaper articles. It will always ask you what you are going to write, because if you don't write an article, for example, you're not going to get marked on it. If you're going to write a letter is very much like an article, but not the same. You have to write a letter. With a letter, start with dear. With an article, go, oh, okay, this is my point I'm trying to get across. Have a heading. Always have a heading in your English, in your articles. If you don't have a heading in your newspapers or your subheadings, you won't get a mark. Now, 1 mark is for a heading in a newspaper. Not many people have told you that. But if you don't have a newspaper heading, you won't get 1 mark, and that 1 mark can change anything in your paper for question 2. Hello, you want to join? Hello, someone join. Someone joined? Hello, I invited you. Now, with another thing you can add in. I am very sorry about. I'm sorry about that. Them not downstairs are being annoying because person just joined my stream. Anyways, so the question 5, paper 2, like I said, adding in newspaper articles, no, newspaper headings. Always add in a heading. Don't do what I did and don't do that, because that 1 mark can change the whole entire thing. Now, with your persuasive again, so don't include in the newspaper, don't include yourself, because if you include yourself, you don't get marks for it. No newspaper is allowed to include yourself. And if you include yourself, you're just not graded, unfortunately. Now, letters always write towards, always use direct address. So, you, not we, but you, yours, um, uh, what are the direct addresses that I actually don't like? Mine, but we want you more direct to the person, because if you counterpoint the person, if you target the person, then they will get more of a clear sense of, oh, this is what's happening. This is why you're right. Because you're adding attention target audience towards, specify a specific group if it asks you to when writing a letter. Now another thing is oh, I've already added articles. What other thing is there? Oh yes, audience. Now, with your audience, who are you targeting? Like I said, direct express. Use very, very much direct express. But it's like the whole thing. Just use direct express no matter what. Now, with your purpose, now the purpose is why are you writing? So nobody tells you, but why are you writing? Why are you trying to get across in what you're saying? And your subject, like, what are you writing about? Basically, your purpose. But subject, what is the whole topic? What are you writing about? Always remember those in mind. Now, don't write about them, but always remember those in mind, because if you point them out, if you point them out in your question, official, isn't it? Because I mean, you've also got to know like the audience and purpose. What's the whole thing about? Now, another thing to keep in mind is the mode. So, if your mode is a transcript, and I don't think there is transcript, uh, it's more of an opinion-based article. But if it does ask you about transcripts, then I don't know what to do with transcripts, unfortunately. I'll let you aside about it. Now, if it is an opinion-based article, like I said, you counterpoint some. You go, oh, this is right, and then this is wrong. Now you start with the if you agree or disagree with it. So, firstly, if you agree with focus being in school, I agree with it because it helps people communicate within school. It helps people communicate from the inside to out. But at the same time, I don't agree with it because it causes distractions. Now, there is more disagreement with friends at schools, for example, which means if you could see more points in a thing, don't go for it. Because you want to think harder towards, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, if there's a disagreement side to something, and then even the examiner don't agree with it, like if the question doesn't go against it, don't always go against it, unfortunately. If it says something like, oh, how far do you don't disagree? Because that's not answering the question. That's like that's targeted. So if it has a question of how far do you agree, you have to text. Also, like I said, you can add you just about add like a saying oh, this is your disagreement. And always put your point across before and after, like having your link to your first thing you said, and then some very, very good. Now, some of the questions you also have stuff like petal or your link, is it link or peel, which is point, evidence, explain, link, was it point, explain, no, yeah. Now, always use your point first. Point in any question. So, what are you trying to get across? Evidence. So, where's your evidence? Doctor at the door is a very good one. So, if you want to make up your evidence, no matter what, in your question 5, so make up your evidence. So go, oh, so 50% on Barclays, so you think bank cards is a good idea. 50% surveys took up 50% said yes, and 75% make it make the statistics correct. You get, you know. So let's just go for an easy one. 75 people said yes, but bank cards should be implemented. 25% of people said no, bank cards shouldn't be. Like bank cards. Always have a doctor at the door for it, because if you need that evidence, you need that continuously add evidence to your explanation with evidence, because you don't give a strong worthy answer you ask him because it shows your complexity and your skill paper. Now I haven't got a 9 marker for at all. You know, I didn't do it. That grade 9 for it. Now your first questions on no, there is a structure in how to do each paper. Now, your first one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Always do the questions in that order in the first paper. Because if you do it backwards, then your longest one, which you get to spend about 45 minutes on, is then done. And then you've got your 4, which is like text. So, if you read like text A, then you basically could be in 2 reading. Because if you did 3, 4, 5, number 1 requires you to read some, 2 you to read some part, and then it's like point, and it's like comparison between A and B. It's like reading. So if you read it backwards, then you read A and B, saves you time. Have the extra skills, or you can reread stuff, but you already know what it's going to say, so you don't have to read that much. You don't have to read the text all over. When you do 3, 2, 1 is always easiest. I think the first one's tick boxes. Make sure you read the question. Very, very beneficial. And then you have stuff like with your paper 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2. Do it in that order, and it's very, very promised to save time. You don't want it to save time. So yes, 5, 8, 4, 2. Now this is all GCSE, so A level now. So yeah, A level. Right, so there was many, many different stuff. You know, I don't know these structured side, so like the paper was that. I could go through some theories with you. So you got like gender theories, and because why not? So you've got age group theories like Penelope Eckert, who discovered that stocks and birds, so lots of people who basically they don't, they're not educated. They are educated. They have no friends at school. They are very much formally aware of school. They keep up. And you've got burnouts who are like well opposite. So they care about school. They're educated each day. They they're not school. Now, jocks. Penelope Eckert did negative content, basically something you got, have I never ever ever done something, which is basically like multiple negatives, negation. Uh, she found of the jocks never used. I think some. She said the birds was to use negative content 52% of the time, also jocks only used to get 13%. And no burnout used 100% like negative concord, along with switching between linguistic, no, standard and non-standard linguistics, which I think really, really cool at the same time. Yet again, why would you switch between standard linguistics? I don't understand that. So, we go into age field again. So, we've got stuff like the lack of the did women on language, but she didn't do a fully big explanation. She did discover more stuff like edges. You've got stuff like questions. So with the isn't it at the end of questions, like you're going there, aren't you? Aren't you? Is the tag question. Stuff like infinitives. I think it's infinitive. So this is to me. So I'm trying to get that. Do really. So it also comes under the deficit model. But mobile constructions, which basically stuff like sugar heat, direct commands. So not telling the bossy verbs have to do this. Instead, they go, should we do this? It's more passive voice. It's not very it's not very beneficial. Now her study, Goodman's and Talents tomorrow. The it put me off. Gender, you put me off now. Sorry, hang on. Thinking, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I was saying that indirect is one of those things, like I said, about direct address, more of a case of, oh, you've got to figure it out yourself. But like I said, Robin Lakoff never actually did a full investigation on this, and she did a full meaning secure any who have gone against it. Now, if we look at the dominance section of this, we have to like Pamela Fishman, who discovered that women do all the work. They made a investigation, and they found out that challenging Robin Lakoff's work was a very beneficial. It's saying beneficial. It was a very key thing because uh, Fishman argued that women questions to gain a conversational power rather than speaking conversational awareness. I read the wrong one. So yes, that's your dominance. So basically, you've got stuff like Zimmerman, it's 2 men into women more, even though that kind of got that didn't really go down well with who said that society is men dominated, men interrupting women is also very, it's very, Jackie, Betty, and Zimmerman are very much linked. So if you're going to go to, for example, talk about that gender theorist, then Betty in 1982 said that society is ruled by men. Then you have the different thing. So you've got gender theorist because she did stuff like status versus standard versus proposal. She very much did stuff like tag question. No, that's Janet Holmes. Deborah Tannen did very much big stuff. So she's just like so women often think in terms of closeness and struggle to preserve intimacy. Men concerned with status tend to focus on opinions. And then she did stuff like status versus support. So men were more around about status they saw, and then you got support where men didn't want support much. They tried getting away from it. Women wanted more support. Orders versus proposals. So men would give more direct orders than proposals. The proposals would be more subject to women. She concluded that no, the communication gap men and women understand. She ultimately suggests that men and women have different ways of approaching conversation, which can often make communication difficult. So there you go. Right. Then you've also got the different model. This is probably my best one. Janet Holmes. So Janet Holmes is mobile and effective tags, which is like your tag questions. And very much went against Robin Lackott. Robin Lackott said women's tag questions. Instead, Janet Holmes found out that tag questions were also used a lot of men and women, and she kind of subcategorized them to mobile effective tags. Mobile was stuff like isn't it? So men would use more stuff, more mobile tag questions, and women would use more effective tag questions such as "on you." Whereas Robin said differently. She went more mobile, spoken by women who that doesn't work. That isn't true. So Janet Holmes is against. Then you've got your gold standard English stuff, which I will go through in a different video. That is a very, very long stuff. Anyways, I'm going to go now. I hope you guys have the outside. Very, very much one off. If you do want to go watch my videos that are there, remember to smile always.